Why is Setuid ignored on directories? On Linux systems, you can successfully chmod $s$sum_ directory, but instead of forcing the ownership of new subdirectories and files to be the owner of the containing directory, and setting subdirectories U+S as well, as you might expect, the system just ignores the setup bit. Subdirectories and files continue to inherit the UIDs of their creating processes, and subdirectories are not set up by default. Why is Setuid ignored on directories, and how can I get the system to recognize it?
Recall that the Setuid and Setuid bits were invented for a completely different purpose, causing an executable to run with its owner's UID or GID, rather than the UID or GID of the user running the file. Any other usage is just an extra feature. These bits have no function on ordinary files that aren't executable. And also shell scripts on some distros, due to security issues. Originally, they also had no function for directories. Obviously somebody decided it would be cool to take the unused Setuid on directories and use it to enforce consistency of group ownership. After all, if you're playing with group ownership, it's because more than one person is working with the file, and it probably makes sense for all the files in a given directory to belong to the same group, no matter who created them. Hassles due to somebody forgetting to run nup are eliminated. So, why not implement the same feature for Setuid and the file UID? Well, UID is much more basic than GID. If you implement this, often a file will not belong to the user who created it. Presumably the user can still modify the file, assuming the unmask is something same, but they can't change the permission bits. Hard to see the utility of that.
I believe that the answer to this question bears on the file giveaway security issues that have resulted in most modern Unix-like OCs not permitting file giveaway. File giveaway is when a non-superuser user changes the ownership of a file to someone other than that user. This capability provides many opportunities for mischief. Since file giveaways are not permitted, Setuid on directories, which would perform the same function in another form, is not permitted, or ignored if set. As to changing the behavior, you would have to modify OS libraries and utilities.
One very good use case for implementing it is this. Let's say you have a multi-site server with 3 secure sites. You have 3 groups created, one for each of the different sites' maintainers. All of the files in all of the sites need to be owned by the Apache user so that Apache can read and write to them, Drupal/WordPress, etc. If the Setuid bit worked like the Setuid bit for directories, permissions would look something like this. This way each group of maintainers had access to see and touch only their content, but the web server user Apache could serve all content, and there is no need for users to worry about changing the ownership of uploaded files. Another use case is for anonymous FTP/HTTP, or even SFTP/SSH uploads. The group and GID on the upload directory would be root, and so would the owner and UID. The other permissions would be WX. This would allow everyone right access to the upload directory, but they could not read anything once it was uploaded, and root would own all files newly created. So there are 2 perfectly good and valid use cases for enabling the UID functionality on directories to match the GID bit. Stephen Mercurio.
A bit late to the party, but in case future readers stumble across this smile. As stated by others, on a standard OS X file system the Setuid for directories gets ignored, and there doesn't seem to be an easy way around this, Mount O, or whatnot. As so often, the man page actually does not comply with the OS X behavior it literally states. 4000, the set user id on execution bit, directories with the set user id bit set will force all files and subdirectories created in them to be owned by the directory owner and not by the UID of the creating process. But it also lists a possibility to achieve the same effect without giving up the original ownership. Linux uses g/setfackles for similar effects, their permissions not really visible at first glance, so can sometimes be a nuisance. As to the how can I achieve similar effects, read the entire man page and fiddle with. You can check via if all looks fine. Further options include inserting rules at specific positions, removing or replacing specific rules. The two noteworthy options here are file_inherit and directory_inherit, allowing the rules to be attached to a new directory/file. I'm not really fond of using Setuid, but Setuid comes in very handy on file servers where simply setting the main group doesn't work or clients are file masks disallowing group write. That would be solved by
well, it should respect the standard. I can think on quite a few scenarios with SFTP, only that it would save me a lot of trouble, both with the close and the occult mask set that SSHD does, and the reset that I must do to that mask. Security by default is quite useful, but if you don't make it an option, you are just creating a wing nightmare. This URL. Either way, it is as Linux goes now, so just use a close to work around those.
If you want to support the channel, please consider subscribing.